Welcome to Rogcast, everybody. This is our first episode. I have a special guest, Sarah Lovelady. Welcome, Sarah.
Hi.
We got a lot to talk about today. It's, just kind of stories that we've been through. We're going to talk about the Mike Tyson fight. We're going to talk about Detroit Lions and just a bunch of other stuff. And we're doing our segment, the Am I the segment. I pulled one up from Reddit, so we're going to talk about that. How you doing?
I'm very good. How are you?
It has been like a year. We do this every time.
Every time.
It's like every time we take about a year break, and then I'll like randomly hit you up, or you'll randomly hit me up. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Just out of nowhere too.
And it's like no time has passed. So
no, not really. So real quick. So last night I got your text about the Mike Tyson fight. Mm-hmm. What did you think was going to happen, and what was your reaction? Obviously, to Jake Paul winning.
Well, first off, I feel like I'm with everyone in this, and we thought that Mike Tyson was going to KO Jake Paul. Yeah. But you know what, though? For, how old is he, 59? 58.
58, okay. So for 58, I mean, like, he looked good. He lasted all 8 rounds. I'm like, okay, that's cool.
He was buff. He was in shape.
I guess what I worried about, like, when I saw him biting his glove, why did it me off? I was like, what are you doing?
First off, I thought it was a tick. It was a tick every time. Yeah. But he did it so excessively that I was just like, oh God, get into the fight, you know?
Yeah. But, see, I every time you would do it, I'm going, what are you doing? Like, are you hungry?
Yeah. I don't think that he was locked in. I really think that it was more of money. It wasn't.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, what did he make, 20 mil off this?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, it's
and Jake Paul made 40 million, I think.
Yeah, I think from winning he won 40 mil.
Yeah.
So obviously we both wanted Mike Tyson to win. He didn't win. But what I worried about the most, and I think it's because we all know how Jake Paul is, was him being ignorant about it. Like, I was so happy the way he reacted. I was so surprised last night that he was like praising him for like, oh, you're the greatest boxer, and all this other stuff. I was so worried he was going to just talk massive amounts of shit.
So was I.
I was waiting for it too. Yeah. I was like, I'm ready to get, where's he at? Yeah. I'll fight him next.
First off, I didn't really have the respect for him, just like most people, because he's a content creator and he just started in 2020.
Yes.
So I was like, all right, let me watch this documentary. It kind of gave me a new sense or a new view on Jake Paul, because it kind of tells you that he respected him so much and he wanted to fight him because of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could see the respect in the documentary, other than like all of the social media talking.
Yeah, but that's normal for a fight, though. Yeah. I mean, I've never been big into boxing, but I tell you what, even everyone at work was ready.
It was just so.
And then the Netflix lag. We got to talk about the Netflix lag.
First off,
and the butt cheeks.
Me off
the
so
butt cheeks
bad
of Mike Tyson.
That was the best part of the whole thing.
That boy be cheeked up on
he
be cheeked up on a Friday.
What? What? And the fact that he kissed a man on the cheek while his cheeks were out. That was the craziest part about it. It just zoom. Like, oh my God, caked up.
But yeah, I was super surprised.
I just thought he was gonna go a little harder, but you could see his legs. They weren't as strong as they needed to be, because he was just in the one spot. You can tell he
was almost losing his balance.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know what though? The fact that, like I said, he went 8 rounds and completely all 8 rounds, and it came down to based off of points.
I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen too. So
that's what I figured. But doesn't Jake Paul owe him like $2 million now?
What's $2 million out of the $40 million that he got?
Right, yeah.
He's like, here you go. Here's a chunk of change. Here's $2.
Yeah, that was crazy. Let's talk about, real quick, before we get into all the rest of our stuff, let's talk about the Lions. So last week, Lions wins against Texans. So it was 26-23. Goff threw 5 interceptions. We were down by 15 points at the end of the second half, and we came back in a stretch. I tell you what,
my anxiety was through the roof. I was on the edge of my couch, like, oh my God, no, not to the Texans.
But you know what, though? I think that's the issue, and that's what I worry about with this coming up week 11 is
It was Jaguars, right?
Yeah. Is people underestimate some of these like teams that maybe aren't doing as well, and then they come in just with a just fiery vengeance.
Yeah.
Like you can tell that after. So we had halftime, and obviously everyone by then I was freaking out. I think I'd stripped down to my boxers, and I was pacing around the living room. Jared came out and was like, "What are you doing?" I'm just like, listen, my anxiety's high.
This is what it's like to be a Detroit Lions fan. Okay?
Right. So by then, Dan Campbell's talking on the sidelines about how we need to start making, our defense needs to start picking up the pace. Our offense needs to start picking up the pace. And at the time, I think it was Davis the third actually got an interception on, I'm blanking out on the Texans quarterback, but he ended up getting an interception. And I feel like from there, the game just took off.
Yeah.
But it was crazy, though, and I don't know if you noticed, but it was small passes to our running backs.
Yes, that is the Detroit Lions game. Like small passes, or you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like that is our game. We don't need to be chucking it down the field for a Hail Mary. We don't need that at all. That's not how we play. We play by little, and we'll get there.
Yeah, and I think that's what happened too when I think it was sometime during the second quarter, is he threw that Hail Mary and he got an interception. But Dan Campbell knew that. Yeah. Dan Campbell, when they talked after, he talked about it. He's like, we knew that there was a chance of that. I'm hoping, week 11 we're going against the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence is out.
Yep.
He won't be playing. I forgot who's taking his spot. But yes, they're going to have a backup quarterback playing, and the stats are just nuts. So, I mean, if you go to DraftKings, it's literally like to get to bet on the Detroit Lions, like negative 1,000. It is, I think this week, this is the most tilted game for the entire season.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see. I'm hoping that the Detroit Lions don't underestimate their opponent, because sometimes it feels like, in the past, they get a little too lax because they're like, oh, this is an easy team. I don't want to see that. I would rather them, and I know it's kind of controversial when we went against the Cowboys and it was a complete blowout.
Yeah.
There was the AI videos of Jerry Jones crying.
Yeah.
I want to see that again.
Happy birthday, Jerry Jones.
I want to see that again, though. And people were like, oh, you shouldn't have made him look that bad. You should have. And I'm like, no. This is
That's the game.
This is the game. Listen, we're going to score as many points as we can on you. We're going to, and we had at one point where we had, wasn't it Sewell, one of our...
Love him.
Yeah, we had Sewell we had him catching balls and trying to get it in the end zone. I'm like, that's not even his job.
That is embarrassing.
The Cowboys.
But one thing I do got to say about last week's game is I feel like the defense and the offense played a hell of a game. And it was really down to our quarterback. That was just... Yeah. Maybe he was feeling off, whatever, but everybody did their part.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion. I feel like that they were doing a really good job.
I think what I worry about with Goff is those bad games. Is he going to have them when we're in playoffs? Is he going to have them if Lions go to Super Bowl like everyone thinks we are? Or is Goff going to have that off? Remember, he did the same thing with the Rams.
Yeah, he
took the Rams to the Super Bowl, and then he flunked it at the Super Bowl, and then they lost the Super Bowl. Detroit can't afford that. I mean, where this is I'm not saying Detroit can't get back to these stats, but if Detroit gets to the Super Bowl, Goff needs to make sure he's on his A game. Now, we're 7th or 6th game in a row of a win. I think it's our 7th game in a row of a win. We lost against the Buccaneers. Mm-hmm. We're back home now, and like I said, the week 11, they're saying it's supposed to be a blowout. I can see it. I don't disagree with it. I think at this point, our defense has picked up. We just picked up a new lineman.
Zadarius Smith.
Yep, Zadarius Smith. And
I was watching his highlights, and I was like,
"Ooh, oh yeah, I know. It's gonna."
So, I feel like he's gonna come in there and he's gonna coach. He's been in the game for a minute. He's gonna come in there. Yep. He's gonna coach all of these people and try and get them right.
Yeah, and especially with Aiden Hutchinson out, he was kind of their head.
Yeah.
He was the head guy of the defense. And I know Anzalone has picked up that mantle, but I think at this point, I don't know. I feel like at this point we need somebody that's been in the game long enough to actually be able to take the defense and go, okay, this is what we're doing.
Yeah. Did you see him on the sideline with?
I did. He was coaching.
Yeah.
I thought it was amazing.
I love that. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I thought that was great, and I think that's what we need. I think Detroit's being proactive about picking up players. I know that there's a limit and there's a certain date that we can't trade anymore, but I know we were making those trades, within our time limit, and I think we pretty much set our, we got Laporta out with a shoulder, which luckily, hopefully it's, I don't know the extent of the injury.
They were calling him Lapuki.
But luckily,
with his little,
he's such a ham. But luckily, with Laporta being out this week, hopefully by week 12 he can come back, because this week we might not even need him. I mean, I don't know. The whole I feel like the first half of the season, like we really didn't even utilize Laporta.
Right.
Like it was like maybe they would throw like one throw to Laporta for 5 yards, and then that'd be the end. You'd see Laporta of the game, and you're like, okay. But this coming up game, I think this is going to be a Montgomery and Gibbs game. I think, we have Williams back. I feel like this is going to be they're just going to run over the Jaguars.
I can't wait to watch it.
It's gonna be
it's a good time to be a Detroit Lions
right
fan.
Yes, it is. Okay, so we can both just agree Jaguars are just going to get completely destroyed by the Detroit Lions. Okay, cool.
Lions.
So, okay. So before we started filming, me and Sarah were talking about some of the old stories that we had gone through. And one of the big ones that we had talked about was, how many years ago was that? I don't even know how many years ago that was. Like 4 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, like 4 years ago. We went to my friend Nicole's wedding, and it was up in Petoskey, Michigan. For those that don't know, we're from Michigan, obviously, Detroit Lions. So we went up to Petoskey for their wedding, and we had a great time until the very last day. We were just tired. We were grouchy. We walked out to the rental car that I had rented. Luckily, I had full coverage on it. And I guess there had been a really bad storm before. Neither of us woke up. And figures. So neither of us woke up, and I guess a branch landed on the back of our rental car, and it smashed the entire back window out.
And I mean, the whole parking lot was full of cars just smashed by trees. Yeah. The whole parking lot.
So so I'm like flipping out, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do? So I tried calling the company that we went through, and I was like, hey, like, you guys got to get me into the car. Like, this has a smashed out window. I have glass everywhere.
And it was a Sunday.
Yeah, mind you, it was a Sunday.
It was a Sunday.
Most places aren't open, on
all.
Sundays. So the lady that I talked to was like, she was like, well, I can get you a car in like 7 hours?
Yeah.
Like, no. I'm not waiting here 7 hours.
We're already grumpy. We're anxious. We need to get home.
Now, mind you, this entire time that we're there's a cleanup crew outside trying to clean up stuff. Now, mind you, I still have not checked out of the hotel. I'm like an hour late of checking out. And yeah, so long story, I guess we'll make it short. So I ended up calling my mom at the time, and I was like, hey, like, I really don't know what to do in this scenario. So eventually what we ended up doing was we just busted the back windshield the rest of the way out because it wasn't all completely broken. And the guys that were cleaning up put was it a garbage?
It was a garbage bag.
Or was it a tarp?
It was a garbage bag.
Okay.
It was like clear.
Yeah, so they put like a garbage bag over the back window and taped it. And we're on the expressway on our way home, and that thing just whipping the entire time.
And we're already angry. And we can't listen to music without hearing the.
So
I'm looking at him. He's looking at me. He is sick at the time. We didn't even know that he was sick at the time.
So yeah, we're on our way home. We're getting the that flapping noise, and of course that didn't last long until it decided to try to rip itself off while we're on the expressway. I think didn't we pull over and I ripped it the rest of the way off.
We pulled over and you ripped it.
Yeah,
I was done.
Yeah, I was done. I was so done with that. So then we drive the rest of the way home. I don't even remember driving home. I was not feeling good. So I remember us getting back to the place, dropping the car off. And I like how like the back windshield, there was obviously there's no windshield, so it was just opening like into the car, and then it ended up downpouring later that night. So
I forgot about that.
I have full coverage. It's not my problem. So, but I remember, so the next day I woke up, at the time I was living at home, and I went outside, help my family would do the lawns, because at the time, they owned 3.5 acres. And I remember coming inside to grab something to eat, and it kind of tasted off. I wasn't quite sure. I'm like, maybe it's bad. So I'm like, I'll cook something when I get out of the shower. I had grass all over me. Got out of the shower, got out. I went to go eat something. I'm like, no. I don't taste anything. I'm like, this is kind of weird. So I'm like sitting there, and I take the bottle of mustard, and I squirt it in my mouth, and literally I taste nothing. So I'm like, oh, well, I got COVID. Didn't even know it. And I was around so many people, and not a single person. And this is the part that makes me so mad. Not really. I'm happy no one got sick, but I was around so many people, and I was the only one that got sick.
Yeah. He called me immediately. He was like, you need to go get tested. And I was like, oh my gosh.
I was not a happy boy. I mean, I was happy once I got to stay home from work paid for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I literally played video games and just ate food that I couldn't taste for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
My stepmom was bringing me fruit and stuff, and I'm like, I'm not eating this. It's gross. It was like oranges, because it's supposed to help you.
Vitamin C.
Screw that. I don't eat oranges. Nasty. They're all stringy in my mouth.
Can't even taste it.
Well, the bad thing is I could taste it. I just don't like. I don't like to eat oranges. I don't like the texture, the stringiness. It grosses me. I feel like I'm eating hair. So
I'm a picky bitch. I'll literally peel every last string.
It was a crazy little I guess we'll call it a vacation on our end.
Yeah, it was fun the first couple days. We had a great time. We
went to B-Dubs.
Yeah.
Do you remember the pretzels?
Yeah, and I was just about to say the pretzels. I wanted this man to stop while we were going home. I was like, just stop at the Petoskey place so we can get the pretzels, and he was like, no, and I was just like,
yeah, no,
I was so angry.
Listen,
I'm a big girl. I like to eat, but he was sick, so I didn't even know that he was sick at the time, and I was just selfishly in my mind, I was like, this sucks.
I
really wanted that.
I was so ready to go home. So when me and Jardy went up there, because we went up there the year we got together, so 2023, we got together in June. I think it was August. I took her up to Petoskey, and we were supposed to go to that pretzel place, and we didn't. And I was so upset with myself. So now,
strikes. All right.
So now I'm sure. Well, remember we did get it the one time.
We got it the one time.
We ate it. Remember we ate it inside the car right before we had to go to the wedding.
It was like the rehearsal, and we're shoving it in.
It was delicious.
Yeah.
But
and it was really pretty. We walked in, there was a big chandelier, and we're like, we are not fancy enough for this.
Am I this Gucci?
Yeah. Yeah,
our hotel was not like that.
No, I mean it was fine.
But I tell you what, though, you know what makes me mad is when I took Jardy up there. We stayed at a Marriott. That was probably the nicest hotel I've ever stayed at, and I don't remember ever seeing that one as an option when we went up there.
Yeah.
So it must be new. But we walked in there, and this thing was Gucci. I was like, is this the life we live? And when we went up there, they had a hot tub and a big pool and stuff like that. When we went, we were the only people in there. Jardy, literally, it was me and Jardy. We had the entire hot tub to ourselves that morning. That's great. And we went to the bar, one of the nights, and they gave us I ordered a set of truffle fries or whatever, and so they gave it to us, and this thing is you could tell they gave us more than what they were supposed to. The thing's mounding with fries. And I ended up getting a Jack and Coke, and I forgot what she got. And they did a double shot without telling me. Now, you know me, I'm not a big alcohol drinker. So, I mean, I'm downing these fries. That's nothing different with me. And I'm sucking down this Jack and Coke because I'm thirsty. I tell you what, I was not walking right. Jardy was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "I'm seeing stuff." I'm like, my eyes just aren't following me. It was the first time I've actually felt that tipsy. Yeah. Because usually, with me, it's I'll have a drink and then I call it good. I just like the taste of the bourbon or the whiskey. But I was feeling it. I was
a little lightweight.
I'm like, this is crazy. Is this what you guys feel like? But yeah, I was so mad because I'm we went to that one place. I mean, they were nice. They were super nice. But I was not happy with our room. It kind of had a weird funky smell. A wet smell.
Oh, God. Mold, mildew. Oh, God.
It was like a weird wet smell, but I'm like, whatever. Like, that's cool. I mean, I guess me and Jardy.
Do you remember after the wedding, it was after like the ceremony or whatever, it started, we spent so much time getting ready. We are the type of people, we got ready. We were in those clothes, right? After the wedding, which he was in, it started downpouring. And we started running. We were running down this street. It felt like so long. And we were just, all of the time we put in our hair, everything. Our clothes. They were all nice. I spent
so much money on those shoes. And
I know,
I had to
you
throw
did.
Them I had to throw them away.
Yeah.
Because they were soaked.
Soaked. We were soaked. We had to go all the way back to the hotel room, get changed in some regular degular clothes, and then go to the reception.
Yeah, we did.
Did we go get the... Excuse me. Did we go get the pretzels after that? Or was the pretzels before that?
It was before.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I remember it downpouring on us. That was still, but no, I'm like, whatever. The only thing I felt bad about was
we were so type A when it comes to that stuff that we were like, no.
Yes.
But when we look back at it, it was kind of funny.
Oh, it was hilarious.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
He took all the clothes and he was like, I'm going down to the dryer and I'm drying all these clothes.
You remember that? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I was so mad because I mean, so that like the only thing that the bride and the groom required me to buy was the same pair of pants, like color wise, and that wasn't even supposed to be the pants that we were supposed to get. Like we were supposed to be wearing gray, white, and black shoes, and the groom, I guess, without telling Nicole, was like, oh, I got these blue ones. She's like, what do you mean? Like, our colors are these. Like, why did you get that? He's like, oh, I liked it. She's like, okay. So, like, everything got changed. I ended up ordering, the pants weren't too crazy expensive. They were like $100 or $200. And then the shoes were probably like another $100.
But it's like an unnecessary expense, you know? So.
Yeah. I had to throw the shoes out. I was so mad. Because, I mean, I hate spending money and only using it once.
Yeah. I think everybody does.
Yeah, but you know what? Those pants, though.
Yeah.
Those pants I only used once.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I actually physically bought a different... The blue is an interesting blue. Mm-hmm. It's like the wedding photos and everything looked gorgeous. Like everyone looked good. Everything looked really good. I wasn't particularly a fan of that color blue, but so I still have I think I still have the pants. I don't even know if I still have them. When I moved, I lost a lot of stuff. Because when I moved out, it was just, that was chaos. I don't even think, did I ever tell you what happened when I moved out?
No, and I never went to the apartment. I've never been there.
Yeah, so that was bad. That was a terrible time. So I moved out, and I know I said this in the intro podcast, so I ended up moving out June 15th. And I basically woke up early, loaded the truck up, and just bolted here. And like I said, I had already been in a pretty bad mental state. I was in a house that was pretty toxic, so I was trying to get out. Like I literally woke up early, packed my stuff, and got out. And basically, at the time, I also had a sinus infection, so I wasn't breathing because I have a deviated septum as it is, so I don't breathe right anyway. So I'm like. I can't even do it.
Moving is the worst, on top of not being able to breathe.
So, and I didn't really have anyone else to help me move at the time, besides Jordan. Because at the time, me and her had actually just started talking. So luckily, she was like, "Oh, I'll help you move. Don't worry about it,
sweetheart."
I tell you what, she weighs maybe 90 pounds. I've never seen that small of a girl take a dresser and just huff it up the stairs. I think I just fell in love with you. I'm like, holy moly. She just grabbed that thing and just right up the stairs. But yeah, so we got everything moved in. My friend Terry come over. She dropped off pizza and some drinks or whatever for us because we hadn't eaten or drank or anything, so she dropped off some stuff for us. And I think Jordan ended up leaving later that night, and then that night, I think the next day or something, or a couple days later, was my mom's birthday. I had to drive back out to Howell and see her for her birthday. But that whole process of getting everything to the apartment, get everything set up was just terrible. Because like I said, my mental health was so bad that I wasn't sleeping.
Yeah.
I'd go to bed at 4 in the morning. I'd wake up at 7:30 in the morning. and like my anxiety was high. I mean, and a lot of people around me saw it. I mean, I was excited because this is my first time moving away from home to on my own.
That's very exciting.
And it was, like I said, it was cool, but because of all the chaos happening behind the scenes that a lot of people didn't know about, it took that and kind of made it like, okay, like I'm happy I'm away, but I'm not completely away. Like
you have to go through a healing period.
That was the whole point. Don't get me wrong, I'm still healing.
Yeah.
It's
not going to take a day or a year.
Yeah, I got to learn, and Jardin's dad's a pastor, Pastor Paul. Me and him have talked about it, and I think the healing process, I have to learn to forgive for the things that have happened. I'm not going to forget what happened.
No. Because
that's how I can learn where the boundaries are set. But forgiving is honestly, that is the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm still working through that process. But it's just, it's a chaotic thing when you have to separate yourself from people that you have been around your entire life, because you have to make that decision on whether it's healthy for you. Just to get into the apartment, I had to open up a P.O. box. Mm-hmm. I had to open up a separate bank account. I had to do all these things because I wanted to make sure that none of the things at home that were going on was going to affect me moving out, which is sad. Now looking back at it, me and Jardy have talked about in the future having kids, and I would never want my kids to feel that way, and feel like they had to hide things from me because of I was nervous of the response, or if something was going to happen that was going to derail my plans.
Yeah.
So I mean, literally, it was crazy. It happened so quick. I walked into my boss's office. He had told me, "Hey, listen, we made some stuff happen. We're giving you guys a pretty decent raise because I do everything at my job. I'm on call 24/7, stuff like that. So they gave us. I think I ended up making like a 27% increase, mm-hmm. Which is massive. There's people that don't know. I don't know who's all watching this. If you're young enough, 27% of wage increase is quite a bit. So I started making enough where I'm like, okay, I know I can make it on my own. Mm-hmm. Because I had been told in the past, like you physically cannot make it on your own, is what I was being told. And
in this time, I always thought that he could make it on his own.
Yeah, but
I was doing it with less.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he had these toxic people in his ear telling him he can't do this and he can't do that. And he was listening to the people that have been around him his whole life, and those are the people that he's learned from. But he had to learn the hard way that he had more than enough. Yeah,
but you know what though? As bad of a hand that I've been dealt, I gotta say that now looking back at it, like where I am now, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah,
I feel like, and me and Jardine talk about this all the time, and like Jardine's parents, like they are heaven sent. Like they have made me feel so loved and so accepted. Mm-hmm. Jardine's mom, I think honestly at some points I think she likes me better than she likes Jardine. Like I swear. She checks on me. She checks on me randomly and stuff, and they're amazing people, and they do amazing things too, Pastor Paul, and I'll put some stuff in the description because he should get the credit for it, he does this thing called Church on the Corner. Mm-hmm. So we go down to Mac and Elliott, downtown Detroit. There's a homeless shelter around that area. He sets up tents and he does prayer for people. He hands out food. He hands out clothes. He does this every month for, I think it's usually the summer, or I think he does it in like late spring all the way till I think he did one already in November. Mm-hmm. But like during that entire time, he takes time out of his own day, money out of his own pocket, and he'll buy them. Like I'll go to the local Little Caesars and buy like 15 or 20 pizzas, and then we just hand out pizza, water, chips, and he sings and stuff like that because he's a musician too. He's a rapper. So so you got all these things going on, and in the culture difference is very different. the atmosphere is very different because I didn't grow up in that kind of atmosphere.
No.
And me and Jordan are still learning as we go on. You know, we're about to hit our second year in June. We're still learning things about our relationship and how we were raised differently. You know, I was always raised with the mindset of like, if someone does you wrong, you know, fuck them. You know, and I'm not saying that that's a bad way to think, but you know, sometimes Jardy will feel that way, and sometimes she'll be like, well, I don't understand why they're acting that way. So even though some of the stuff that happened in my childhood, even though a lot of it and some of it was bad, you know, I can honestly say that I took away things that I can actually apply now.
Yeah.
So I guess in retrospect, I wouldn't change anything.
No.
I wouldn't change a thing. I mean, I feel like
but that's the reason why you are the way that you are, and you gotta be thankful for that.
Yeah. I mean, every day, and I tell Jordan every day, I'm like, I couldn't be more happy with where I am right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
God puts you in places that you need to be.
Yeah. And it, like I said, it's crazy because, Pastor Wallace, you know, first time going to church, he's like, nice to meet you, whatever. He's like, you're my son now. You know that, right? I'm like, am I? I feel like I'm everyone's son now. I'm your brother basically. Because your mom adopted me at like a very young age.
A very young age. She loves Roger.
But yeah, I can honestly say I'm extremely happy with where I am right now in life. Obviously, there's things I need to work on. That's partially why I started the podcast back up, because I got to a point where I felt like I'd go to sleep, wake up, I would eat, drink my coffee, go to work, and it was just that nonstop. I wasn't doing anything. Like there was nothing productive happening. So recently, for probably about the past month, I've been waking up at 10 o'clock. No matter what. I don't care how much sleep I got. 10 o'clock I wake up, I jump on, I either do editing. I started, I don't know if anyone's seen it. Those that have me on Facebook have seen it. I started basically a print-on-demand business where I make t-shirt designs, and you guys can order them, and they're always on sale. I think they're like $16.
Yeah.
I started doing that because I'm like, I'm going to do something that's going to at least could potentially come back and help me. You know, if I can make an income off of that, that would be fantastic. I mean, again, I'm not putting my money on it, but I at least I'm doing something productive.
Mm-hmm.
It started bothering me because I'm always tired. I'm not really doing anything. Like I'm literally just a sack of potatoes 24/7. Besides this, you know, the pop, I have like one a day now.
This big rabbit hole. Talking about that little pop and
well, no,
ale.
but like I was drinking probably about like 5 to 6 Cokes a day.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know why I feel like crap all the time.
Huh.
My doctor's like, you know, how's your diet? And I'm like, I can't even lie to you. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's pure shit. And
it's it's really just about mindset. You got to change your mindset.
Yeah.
Change the things that you do.
Oh, and Jardine's great with that though. She's always trying to, okay, we need to try to like stay away from the fast food.
Yeah.
I mean, when times, you know, we have no time at all, we'll grab something. But like, we always cook at home now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she's got me cooking and actually like trying different recipes and stuff like that.
That's actually a good way to bond.
Oh yeah,
you know?
no, it's great.
Yeah.
And you know,
I would take that over.
I learned, you know, I earned my card because I know how to season now.
Nice. Nice.
When me and Jardy first got together,
salt and pepper is not a seasoning.
I got to the point with the seasoning. It's just, you know, there's things that me and her are still working on with that. But yeah, no, now we cook for each other and stuff like that, and it's great. But I tell you what, when I lived at home, I didn't cook ever.
Yeah, I remember you always telling. We would be on the phone, and he'd be like, "Yeah, I'm at Taco Bell right now."
Taco Bell.
I'm like, "Didn't you just have that yesterday?"
Mm-hmm. Taco Bell's life.
I'm gonna go get Dunkin' as well. He loves Dunkin'.
Yeah, so there was a Dunkin' on my way to work before I got on the expressway, and I'd get the same thing almost every day. I'd get a everything bagel toasted with cream cheese, and I think I'd get a large original 2 cream 2 sugar every day, and then every night, going back to how terrible things were when I was living at the old place, every night I would get on the phone with my friend Terry, and the entire way home I'd talk on the phone with her just about life and what was going on, and we'd stop by Taco Bell. separate ones, mind you. Like, we're on the phone at separate Taco Bells. I'd get my order, she'd get her order, and then right off the expressway in the city that we were living in, there's just like this random parking lot that's off the side of the expressway. I'd sit in there for like, I you not, I'd sit in there for 3 hours eating and just talking to her. And then when I was on my way home, I'd like get onto the road that I lived on at the time. And if I saw that the lights were on, I'd do another lap. You know how much gas I wasted?
That's bad. Okay, that's bad.
You know how much gas I wasted just doing circles? I literally, there was one night, and me and her were laughing. I had to have done 3 laps. Now, mind you, these laps are like, I'm going all the way to the...
He lived in the country.
Yeah.
So
I would do laps that were like, it wasn't just like around the block. There was no blocks. Yeah. It was like a lap I'd pass the house, I'd go, I couldn't even tell you how many miles down the road. I'd go back to the inner city and then drive back to the country. I did that 3 times one night. Good old times.
Yeah, good old times. You're away from that now.
Oh, yeah. But you know what, though? I cherish those moments.
Yeah.
I cherish my Taco Bell moments. Because every time I drive past and see the lights on, like, Terry would be like, are the lights on? And I'm like, they are. She's like, oh, looks like we're doing another round. I stayed on the phone with her till like 5 a.m. one time.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Because I'm just like, oh, lights are on. Looks like we're doing another round. She's like, oh, no.
She's like, I want to go to bed.
Yeah. But no, those are good times. But yeah, no, like I said, I'm super happy with where I'm, you know, I got a lot more growing to do. I want to get out of the apartment. I want to get a house, you know, obviously marriage is something that, you know, I want to, that's my next goal to aim towards. Obviously right now, financially, everything is just
create stability within yourself and your relationship before you do anything, and everything will fall into place.
Oh yeah. No, it's just like right now, I think with how messed up the economy is, it's a struggle just to get ahead, especially unless you're making any substantial amount of money. Like, most people right now are either paycheck to paycheck, or they're just slightly where they have a little bit of play money.
Yeah.
But it's, where does that play money go? And don't be wrong, I'm terrible. DoorDash, I swear, y'all better start like promoting or sponsoring this, because I use y'all like I used to use you guys every day.
You just shined a light on my deep secret.
DoorDash?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Well, wasn't it you that posted the thing on Facebook about the Little Caesars? Okay, hold on.
Oh my god, I was so angry.
I almost shit my pants laughing because I was purple in the face when I saw that. Because like me and Jardine DoorDash all the time. Well, we used to. And I saw what are those things called?
So I got 2 boxes of Crazy Puffs, right? There's 4 in each. You know, I wanted to eat a little something. And I ordered it. Let me tell you, I could have went and got it myself.
How far is it away from you?
It's like a mile.
Oh,
all right?
Lord.
It's not even far. I could have went and did it myself, but I was just being lazy. I ordered the 2. And the guy set it on my porch, took a picture, looked like it was all there, right? And then as soon as I get it, I'm like, these are really light, you know? I also got dips, and they didn't come. So I went inside, and there was only 2 Crazy Puffs out of the 2 boxes that I got. And I was like, what the fuck?
I would be so mad.
I was so angry.
Well,
and it just kind of felt like, I need to stop DoorDash.
Right, if that wasn't the
gosh.
I remember seeing that post.
2, and I couldn't even eat the other 2 because the guy was
fingering
what'd you say earlier?
Diddling.
Diddling on my Crazy Puffs. That's
well, that's the thing too. Like when I tell Terry about the DoorDash, it is like she's like dumbfounded by the whole concept. She's like, y'all generation just changed the game.
It's called laziness.
Yeah. She's
a little convenience. Let's not be so harsh. Convenience.
Okay.
Laziness.
I mean, so it's now like there's a place like there's a Coney Island that's like out in like the Plymouth area.
Mm-hmm.
They're not like right down the road. Like I would have to jump on the expressway to get there. Well, DoorDash delivers here for that place, and we love Coney Island.
If it's in the 10-mile radius, you can get it.
Is it 10 miles?
Yeah,
that's terrible.
11 miles, I think now.
That's terrible.
They upped it.
Well, they upped their prices.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense. But yeah, we used to order.
Dude,
I'll
pay the extra 50 cents to sit on my couch. Okay, feet up, like stalking.
You know how many
them.
times like we'll be sitting there watching a TV show and I'm like, I want some Milk Duds.
That's so funny. I just the other day I was like, man, I could really use a Slurpee right now.
Oh, see, I don't know if I would do that though.
They put it in these special cups that keeps it like frozen. And I was
Hold the front door.
yeah, it's not like
They do
super
what?
special. They put it in these like green cups. They're like foam, but it keeps it cold way longer than like the plastic cups, right? And then they put a little thing on top so nobody goes
The tamper.
diddling on top.
Diddling your
Yeah.
Slurpee.
I just wanted to see it, and I wanted a couple chicken rollers, but
Okay.
Yeah,
the taco ones?
I got the buffalo chicken. I know it's not good for you. It's not good. All right.
You won't have to question why I have stomach problems.
Because same.
Every time that Taco Bell, because they would randomly sometimes close.
Proud to be an American.
Processed food. Every time that I would like go to Taco Bell, if I came home late, like later than like if I had a repair and I had to leave late, and I knew Taco Bell was closed, I would stop there, and I actually knew the people at Speedway by name, and I'd be like, hey, like, do you guys have any taco ones on there? She's like, no, but I'll put them on there for you. She's like, give me like 10 minutes. Like,
No problem. I'll be in my car.
Yeah. I shit you not.
I'll be in my car.
Yep. Oh. And I would be like, yep, I'll be out in my car. I'll be there waiting or whatever. And the person would be literally like, I'd park right in front where like I could see where the cashier's at. And they'd be like, you're good. And I'd be like, okay, I know to go inside now and get them. I'd come inside and like I'd get my large Slurpee. Yeah. And I'd get my taco roll thingies. Oh yeah, I'd be in the bathroom like later that night.
Yeah.
I had the same routine every night. I would get my Slurpee. I mean, before COVID, I used to go to Meijer, and I sound like a pregnant woman, but I'd go to Meijer, and I'd get cottage cheese and pickles.
Pregnant.
And then I would get, like, either, as a drink, I'd either get chocolate milk or orange juice.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, it's terrible.
Oh, my God.
We don't have to ask why I have bubble guts.
Right.
But
chocolate milk.
I did that for, like, a year straight.
Your stomach lining. Sorry.
Sorry. What's stomach lining?
Yeah.
I did that for like a year straight, and then I'm like, I probably should.
I really think that the whole food thing goes into your mental health. All right, if you're feeling down or whatever, the first thing we go to is some cheap food.
Yep. I actually and I think it's also how you were raised too with food.
Yeah,
so like
absolutely.
my mom and my dad, they separated when I was younger. The way that they handled food, like how they ate and the type of foods they ate were very different. Like my mom at one point was like, we need to make things a little healthier. We'll do turkey meat instead of, instead of beef and stuff like that. It only lasted a little bit, but like she was trying to do things that were like make sure they were home cooked. They were a little healthier, so that. My dad, on the other hand, like, I don't remember, like, ever eating a salad in his house.
I understand.
Never.
Yeah.
I don't think a salad has ever entered that house. I don't know. But, like, I remember, like, we'd get, like, hot and readies. We would get, like, sometimes he would, like, wake up and he'd be like, oh, I'm going to make some pancakes and stuff like that. So we'd have pancakes. There was always cookies. Like, they used to buy, like, the big, like, thing of dough.
Oh, my God.
I want to do, I've talked about this multiple times, about the segment I want to do that's called Am I the Basically what we do is we pull stories from Reddit, and it's usually stories where people are asking, am I the bad person in this scenario? Some of them are completely nuts. The one I picked kind of touched home a little bit to me. So it says, am I the because I told my wife I don't want to loan money to the family. Long story short, my wife and I have been together for about years, is all I put. Her family hasn't made good decisions when it comes to money. I don't mean to judge people, and I say live your life your way. Several months ago, her mom came to us asking to borrow $1,000. My wife and I talked it over. I told her I don't like to loan money to family, as it usually led to bad feelings. It's her mom, and I know it was hurting her that her mom had to ask us for money, so we decided the money was a gift, and we didn't want the money back. 2 months later, she needs another $600. I am pretty annoyed at this point. This is a slippery slope. After much back and forth, we said okay, but this was a loan, and she was to start paying $200 a month starting in October. My wife and I agreed this was the last time we would do a payout. Fast forward to last Tuesday, I get home and my wife says her mom is in a panic and that they will be evicted from their lot if they don't come up with $1,600 by today. In the addition to the 16 we had already given, that's in addition to the 16 we had already give. I said I was sorry and that I would help come up with some ideas, but I told my wife I was no longer willing to loan or give out money as it obviously isn't fixing her mom's financial issues. Am I being unfair by putting my foot down and saying enough is enough and we cannot be responsible? We are saving for our down payment on a home. I know it's her mom, but I feel we don't set these boundaries, it will end up damaging the relationship with my wife. I'm no saint or a victim, so please don't read it this way. We all make mistakes and get into tough spots. That said, my first responsibility is our family unit, me, my wife, and 2 kids. Looking for some feedback. So let's add up how much. So he said 1,000, and so he had already given her $1,600. The first 1,000, which that was a gift, that's a pretty generous gift. And then 2 months later, after he had given her 1,000, he gave her another $600, but that was a loan. So over a 3-month period, she'd pay back the $600. It doesn't say whether she paid that back, but this is the issue. When it comes to family, it's by person, to me.
Yes.
So there's some family members I would loan money, no issue. I know that they'd pay me back. But the way I look at it, and my boss is the one that actually kind of has me thinking this way. Once you burn me on money once, that's all it takes is one time. Burn me on money once. I will not lend to you again. And I don't care. Or, my boss actually, he would take collateral. So, like, he took his sister's wedding ring. And they didn't end up paying the money back, so he scrapped it. But yeah, I'm sorry, but in this scenario, I wouldn't loan either. I mean, it's one thing if they're in a bad financial spot, but it's why are they in that bad financial spot?
Right.
Are they gambling, or is it they're blowing it on stuff that they don't need?
I'm not going to enable you to continue to make the wrong decisions in your financial situation. Yeah,
I think that's the issue with this. I
mean, like you said, it depends on the person and if they actually pay you back, or even if they pay you back a little by little, but you can rely on them. Once you burn me, you're not reliable anymore.
So, I mean, this seems like this was within like a 6-month period, though. So, I mean, you're talking...
I understand people go through hardships and everything, and it's really nice to help somebody out because that's just good karma for you, but that's
you're
excessive.
Talking, what is that, $3,200?
Yeah, that's excessive.
Yeah, $3,200 in less than a year that someone's asking to either have or borrow. My whole thing is I will not borrow money unless I know I can pay it back. Because to me, so sometimes it doesn't happen often, but sometimes we'll borrow money from Dardian's mom.
Yeah.
If we're in a very tight spot, I always make sure as soon as I get paid that morning when I wake up, it's the first thing I do is pay her. I see money with family can cause a lot of bad issues, especially if you get them used to. If you're always paying somebody out, like a family member out, oh, hey, yeah, you can borrow $20, you can borrow $50, you can borrow $100, you can borrow, even if it's $1, I don't care. If they get you to a point where it's now common that, okay, I'm always giving you money, they will continue to exploit it until you give up everything you have.
We call that a leech.
But yeah, I'm sorry. I agree. I would not give this. The fact that he even said, and he's trying to save a down payment for a home for his.
He already knows what the right decision is.
Yeah, but you know what though? I think the issue is because it's not his mom; it's his partner's mom. So
that doesn't matter.
But people feel different about their parents.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I feel like people feel different about their parents. If we were to interject it into our scenario, if your mom came to you and was like, "I'm going to get evicted," your instant thing is, "Okay, well, we're going to try to get you so you're not evicted." Your partner is going...
But she would never come back with a second time and be like, hey...
It's because your mom's awesome.
That's what I'm saying.
It's
totally... It's by person.
I agree.
It's by person. So, it doesn't matter if they're your mom or not.
And like I said, I think in this... he's trying to save money for a down payment on a home. He's like, I know it's her mom, but I feel if we don't set these boundaries, it will end up damaging my relationship with my wife. And that's what it is. Everything comes down to boundaries.
Yeah.
He has 2 kids. He's trying to make sure that they're taken care of. He's trying to get a down payment on a home. He has to, at some point, put his family first, even if it's over a mom.
Correct.
So I agree. I know you're not the in this scenario. I think you were generous for gifting $1,000.
Yeah.
I think I want to be your friend.
Right. You're not an
Yeah. No.
And the fact that you're even asking Reddit if you're the it shows that you care
but you see,
about people's feelings.
I'm curious to know what the wife is saying, because like, is there an argument happening behind the scenes? Is that why he posted it? Like, well, this is my mom. It's like, yeah, that's why we don't loan money to
Honey,
family.
why don't we come down from space? All right, come down to Earth and understand what's actually in front of us.
Yeah.
What's the realistic situation?
Yeah,
right now?
it just it. Okay, guys. Well, listen, that's all we have today for Rogcast. I appreciate you guys joining in and listening to what we have to talk about. Watch out for the sports corner that I'm going to be releasing with Brandon Woods. We're basically just going to be talking about what we're looking at when it comes to some of the future NFL games and the games that have already passed for that week. Make sure you tune in. It will be on my channel. If you're not subscribed, make sure you guys do subscribe, because that way you guys will get notifications when I post things. That's what that's there for. It's crazy. But I do appreciate you guys joining in. Sarah, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
Listen, guys, I love you all. You guys, I'll catch you guys next time on Rogcast.
Peace.
Hey, if you want, check out some of my other videos. Oh, wrong side. I'll put a video right here. Check out some of my old videos. Why not? They're free. They're up there. If you ain't got nothing to do, if you're just sitting on a toilet, just check it out. It's just right here. Just do it.